Hey everyone, it's Amber, and I don't want to sound like a cliche, but these 4 years of college have went by so fast, and I'm in shock. But I can probably say that as of May 15th, I'm a college graduate with a bachelor's in journalism. So I also wanted to give a major congratulations to all of the graduating seniors of the class of 2020. Whether you be a high school senior or a college senior, we did that. So with this video today, I wanted to do a college reflection and detail my 4 years of college, as well as give you some lessons that I learned along the way. So hopefully they can help, and I hope you enjoy. Right. Freshman year, you are new, bright-eyed, and just welcomed into this whole new world of college. So for me, my experience was a bit different than most because I did not dorm. I was a commuter student, so I would go to school every day from home to class. So I didn't have the chance to feel the living on a dorm and like eating the school food and all that stuff that people have to go through living on campus. But I still feel like being a commuter student, the major lesson during my freshman year was to find my sweet spot and find my comfort zone, because I'm trying to navigate my way on this campus and build a life here while still having to go back home. Freshman year was like the start of a lot of things. I took this amazing public speaking class, and I fell in love with telling stories and giving speeches. I don't know why, I just really enjoyed that class, and I enjoyed creating the speeches and then standing up in front of the podium in front of that class and like orating and dictating my thoughts on certain topics, or giving a speech that's either motivational or something that's giving a lesson. And I feel that with that class and finding my love for public speaking, it really pushed, my desire to do more speaking on campus. And I always loved writing, and I was writing for my high school paper and my middle school paper as well. So I was like, why not write for my college paper? And I decided to join the Torch. You would have to write 3 articles until you became a staff writer. So I was writing my butt off during that time, and there was this one article, my first article ever, and it was the Pepsi Cola commercial with Kendall Jenner walking up, and I'm like, was this, did this meet the mark when it came to activism or something like that? And I was proud of that because it was my first ever published article in a college paper, so it was a big deal for me. Also, from using my voice, I was pushed because people were saying that I should, join the radio station, like I should have my own show and it's a good opportunity and all that good stuff. So I listened to everyone in my ear, and it was the greatest thing I could have ever done. I decided to join the radio station during my freshman year. So I didn't have a show yet, but I was able to get hours, and I had to take a board test in order to establish like my space. And that's when the Amber Alert was born, but she was still developing at the time because I joined at spring semester, so it was towards the end where things were just wrapping up, and I would have had to start in the fall of my sophomore year. Another bonus when it came to journalism in my freshman year was pretty funny because I was part of the First Take program. It was the First Take journalism program during high school, and they had a scholarship, the Dale Wright Scholarship Award ceremony with NYABJ, and myself and another peer of mine, we were, nominated to get awards that night. And interestingly enough, the time of the awards and the time of that scholarship award ceremony, it was during a class I had. So during my freshman year, that was the first time I cut a class to go to an award ceremony. I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, the professor's gonna know, blah, blah, blah. I was a baby, so I really took it to heart that I was missing class. But at the end of the day, the ceremony was way worth it. The class was philosophy. It wasn't all that interesting, and I was able to interact with great Black journalists and have the opportunity to see other amazing Black journalists do their thing and then hear their perspective and hear their stories. And I learned so much at that time, and I'm grateful for the people in my life during First Take and during that award ceremony as well. So it was definitely worth it. So I would say like a rapid fire tip is, don't feel bad skipping class if it's benefiting you, but you have to be smart about it, okay? You have to be smart and make sure you make up the work, because if you don't, then it's gonna bite you in the butt. So another key that I found for helping myself, finding my comfort zone on campus during my freshman year, was finding comfortable places for me to just be. Now, I typically would just go to class and then go home, and that wasn't really cutting it for me because I wanted to be in the atmosphere and the environment of campus, but I wanted to also have my peace. But I found my comfort zone at the time in Dunkin' Donuts, which is pretty cool because it was the first time that I had a vanilla chai latte. I know, I never had it before, but it was the best thing ever. When I got it, I was just like, oh, this tastes so good. And I would just sit in front of the window seat, and then I would have my drink, and I would have my notes, and I would just start writing or do whatever made me feel comfortable. So all in all, I say that to say, finding your sweet spot and finding where you're most comfortable will help build the foundation and set the roots for you to thrive during your college career, because everywhere I was, it was meaningful to what I wanted as an outcome. Right, sophomore year, the major lesson of sophomore year was speak up. And I did not hold my tongue for anything during sophomore year because the Amber Alert was born. So on the radio station, I was up on the 4th floor letting it out. Well, I wanted to educate people as well as empower them. And of course, I want it to be for Black people, but it's also for others as well, because for those saying the N-word, they need to know better. Do you know what I'm saying? So I want it to be a moment. I want it to be a moment, and I feel like the Amber Alert was a moment. Continuing on from the Amber Alert, I joined the Black Student Union as the Public Relations Chair, and that just changed everything. My campus, we did not have a Black Student Union until that year. There was SOC, Students of Consciousness, which I was a part of, and the Black Student Union became like their sister org. So I was working with two movements. It was beautiful to me because going back to like finding your sweet spot, yes, you want to find your comfort zone, but like I wanted to find people who look like me. I wanted to find Black people on campus. When I found a community of Black people who are like-minded and who want to empower Black people, who are radical, who are ready to do stuff and make things happen, I felt like this was heaven on earth. So when you find your community of people you can relate to and grow with, it's like there's nothing stopping you. And I'm so grateful for that moment and these people because it was just a good time. it was a good time because nothing beats being around like-minded people, making change on campus, and making sure voices are heard. And I feel like once you feel that for yourself, nothing can compare, especially because the Black Student Union was run by entirely women, so it was all women run, Black women, and we did that on campus. And the words can't explain how proud I am of us and what we've done and accomplished in this organization. So with the Amber Alert, with Black Student Union, with SOC, on my campus as a PWI. So I was making sure my Black voice was heard, and I was making sure all Black voices were heard with the group I was working with. I also put great pieces in the torch that I'm super proud of. One was this N-word project that myself and a few others worked on. Oh, it was beautiful. It was just perfect for post Black History Month. It was such a powerful piece in that paper because it shook up what campus is talking about. I'm talking about like how we're digging deeper than like, oh, do you prefer sweet potato fries or regular French fries in the campus lunchroom? You know what I'm saying? It's going deeper than the status quo. It's talking about race, it's talking about speech, it's talking about what people are saying on a daily basis, and we're thinking about if this is okay and why it isn't or why it is. And I also wrote a beautiful article I'm so happy with called Blackfishing is the New Blackface, because there was a moment where there was these influencers who were making themselves have Black features, and they were getting credit or getting praised for having Black features, but Black women were being discredited or being seen or viewed as ugly for the features that they were born with. So I wrote an article about that and it was trending for about 9 months. I was over the moon with that and a proud moment for my journalism career in the Torch as well. Junior year was all about the hustle, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the major lesson I learned junior year was balance. Whew, because fall and spring semester, I don't know what I was thinking, but I know that I was doing what I needed to do when I did it. Fall semester, I decided, hey, I don't want to take the bus anymore to school. I want to save money, and I started to ride my bike every morning to class. Now, mind you, I had 7:30 classes, so I'd have to wake up. I'd have to wake up at like 5:30 just to make sure I ate and got everything together so I could get to campus on time. So that happened. I was riding in the rain, riding in the sun, making sure I just got there. And I saved my money, so I'm proud of that. Also during junior year, I applied for an internship at the Wendy Williams show, and this was supposed to be for my spring semester. And I made it to the interview process, but then I didn't get it, which was really, really sucky. I had to change my schedule in order to fit the timing of the internship, so I kind of like changed my life around for something that wasn't secure. So one thing I would let you know as a tip is to make sure you have something secure before you change your schedule to fit it. That only makes sense, But at the end of the day, I ended up having night classes instead of morning classes. Yikes. And now that I didn't have the internship, I didn't have anything to eat up that time. So what I ended up doing was I got a job at the color factory in the city, and I was working while going to school. Now I know that for most people, this is no big deal. And it was definitely a learning experience for me, because going to school and then like commuting back and then having night classes and then getting out at like 10:30, 11, then like traveling back home, is tiring. Looking back at it, I say wow, but going back in time and putting myself back there, it felt like this is just what I had to do. And I'm grateful I had that lesson, because it taught me extreme time management, making sure I got my work done, extreme balance, and I also got paid. And also adding to the balance, during winter break of my junior year, that's when I met my boyfriend, and then we became official in February. So going into my spring semester, I came into that semester with a boyfriend, and I had a lot more on my plate than I was used to, because I was going into it with a boyfriend, a relationship, a job, and night classes, and I was used to having a lot on my plate, but this was a new level. It was different things that I wasn't used to, but I still made it work because my job lasted until the summer. I passed all my classes, and my boyfriend and I are still together, so it was a win-win situation. I know sometimes things can be a distraction for others, but I found a teammate, which was super helpful for me, and I don't know, it worked out perfectly. But I say that all to say is just please choose what works for you and really know yourself and know what you can handle. And now finally to senior year. Okay, senior year. Junior year I was vice president of Black Student Union, and now going into senior year, I became the president of Black Student Union. I know. It was a new world for me. Like I said, the Black Student Union was run by women. We were all women leading, making things happen, and just doing the thing. And all of them happened to be seniors, and I was the junior. I was the only baby in the group. So it was like they were all leaving, and then I was starting from scratch. So I had all the moments, the protests, the tears, and all the work and history that we had all compiled in me. And I had to make sure that the new group that I found and that we chose kept that same energy. And I was scared that it wouldn't, but luckily enough, we found good people, and I was able to have a team, and we were working with that team to have and continue the legacy of Black Student Union. Notice how I didn't really mention internships except for that one time I applied for the Wendy Williams show. So a lot of my peers have been like getting internships left and right. They were like, oh, I'm working at iHeartRadio, I'm working at NBC, I'm working at CBS, I'm working at Fox. I'm just like, oh my God, I keep getting rejected. And I felt like I just could not win with internships. So I knew that senior year, I had to get my internship by any means necessary. I buckled down and I applied for the Amsterdam News, and I prayed, toes and fingers crossed, that I would get it. And I went in for my interview, and thankfully I got it, and this was in November. So I got my first internship my senior year in the fall at the Amsterdam News. I also took on the role of social media manager for the Torch at the school paper, so I wanted to have more leadership roles there as well. So mind you, going back to the point of knowing what to put on your plate, I knew myself enough to say that, hey, I can handle doing a lot because I've done it before. But this time these were bigger roles and things were getting a little more serious. So I still had the Amber Alert, I still had writing for the paper, I had social media manager, I had to lead because I was the president of the Black Student Union, and then I had my internship, and then I also had my classes. So these are things that I'm worrying about and thinking about, and it took a toll on my mental health. And I started getting really stressed, and I started getting really anxious, and I wasn't really performing at my best the way I knew I could. So I knew that as much as it hurt, I had to let something go. And I had to let the thing that was weighing me down the most go, and unfortunately that was Black Student Union. There would be countless conversations, with my boyfriend, with my parents about like what to do and like what should I do. I don't want to let go of this. I don't want to lose the legacy of the Black Student Union. I don't want to, I couldn't find it in myself to leave any one of the things I was passionate about. I ended up deciding to quit the Black Student Union and leave as president, and that was towards the end. I think it was towards approaching like spring break, about that time. So yeah, towards the end of that, I was like, okay, I made the announcement, like I had a meeting with them, and I said my goodbyes and passed the torch on to the VP, who is now president. And it was scary letting it go, but it was like a big weight off of my shoulders because I would no longer be suffering the way I was, and it's better to find your happiness. And I want that to be a major lesson too, where it's like you don't have to do the most all the time. And I know that in our generation, it's like, we have to be productive, and if you're not being productive, you're not doing anything, you're not doing enough, and you're not good enough, and you always have to do. But sometimes you just have to breathe and take time for yourself and know what's important for you, because if you neglect you just to be productive, you're only hurting yourself. So that's like a major lesson I learned, and tying that all into like the leadership of my senior year. And I feel like that's the main lesson I learned, is being a leader and finding the true definition of what it means to be a leader is knowing when to say no and knowing when to stop. So spring break happened. I'm, Black Student Union free. I'm still doing my social media manager work, which is like updating the website, posting on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz, doing my Amsterdam News work, writing articles about the Black community. So we get back to campus, and then the coronavirus happens. I was shocked. Everyone, had to go home, and that's when I had to, like everyone else, wrap up college remotely. And let me tell you, I hated it. I hated it because I had this one online class and it was atrocious. I thought it would be easy, but I lied to myself. I'd rather be in the classroom, learning, asking my questions, rather than relying on Blackboard and emails. But thanks to the coronavirus, that became my whole entire reality. So myself, like many others, were stressed because now our whole entire workflow of coursework has been shifted to our laptops at home. So while I was doing that, making sure I checked my emails consistently, did my work on time to the best of my ability, created a new schedule, because it can get extremely comfortable to stay in bed all day when you don't have to wake up and go to campus anymore. So I had to really rework my schedule for that and take charge and take lead of my new life working remotely, and also figure out what I wanted to do, because I always said, like, post-graduation I wanted to travel, but the world shut down. So I really had to rework what I wanted to do with my life now that graduation is coming up so soon. Things started to slowly go away. When I say go away, like slow down, because we were transitioning power with the torch, so that was off my plate. And then the things I had to focus on started dwindling down, and that's when I went extremely hardcore with my book. On April 23rd, I published my book, Human, to the world. I was really learning how to market and promote, and I'm still in that process of learning how to market and promote and push my book. And I'm proud of my poetry book. I'm so proud of my book, baby. Thank you all for the people who purchased it already. It's available on Amazon. No one really expected or thought the coronavirus would impact us the way it did and shut things down the way it has, and just turn our world upside down in a sense. So in order to push through that and be able to, you know, publish my book is a blessing for myself, and I'm grateful for that. So as things are coming to a close, I am wrapping up my senior year of college remotely, like I said, and my graduation will be virtually on May 31st, and I just can't believe how, like I said before, how quickly the 4 years went and how unorthodox the whole thing was. It's like, my college experience was not the typical one, and I'm grateful for that because it helped me learn and grow and know myself more as a person. And I feel like that's the importance of college, is to grow as a young adult, because without, you know, adversity, without knowing how you navigate difficulties and even how you navigate positive moments, you don't really know yourself. And I feel like I've grown into the young woman that I am proud of and continuously growing into. And I just think, once again, I just thank everyone for the support and love and the experience, because it wouldn't be the experience without any of you. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned some things from my experience. You got a few cool tips, a little inspiration, I don't know, something. I hope you got something out of it at the end of the day. So make sure to follow me on Instagram at amber.borden, and also please follow my book's Instagram at human.thebook. And then of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you later.